morning, folks, and welcome to Power to Negotiate. My name is Sawyer, and today I'd like to talk about advertising. And remember, we talked before about you want to have scripts, so when you're calling someone, you know exactly what to say. Well, do you ever want to have people calling you? Yes. Do we want to be calling people? Yes. Do we want to have people that are responding off emails and off of our web presence? Yes. We want to have several pillars in our Parthenon, as Joe Stump would say. And the way that we do that is we don't have just one avenue to market. So I want you to be thinking about what are the possible ways I can advertise this property. The first one, and the most cost effective in my mind, is the internet. I want to place this on my website. I want to also place this on a community bulletin board type thing like Craigslist.org or Backpage.com or any of those others where you can place a free ad as well as a few pictures. And what I would also do is I would have a link to my website so I can have all the information that's on there and then also link them to the website where I can have more information. Now you're going to say, Reed, why do I have to have my own website? Because each of these individual pages you can put as much information on your website as you want. Whereas with a Craigslist, you might only have one page you can put the information on. So you want to have the ability to control the situation and direct people to your own website. What are some other ways to advertise? Well, if you're cheap, like me, one of the most effective ways to advertise is business cards. And when I say business cards, I'm talking about you want to have a business card that has your name, your contact information, and your tagline. But the tagline goes on first. And the tagline is 2 to 3 times larger than the rest of the information on there. Why? Because the tagline is the most important thing. Read, what's the tagline? The tagline tells people what you can do to help them. So if you're looking for buyers, you might say, no banks required, lease option available. If you're looking at sellers, you might want to have the tagline, how long would you like to own the property and not have to worry about making the taxes, insurance, and mortgage payments? Question mark. That sounds too good to be true. And people will call you. What is their problem? What is their need? What is their pain? And once you can articulate that, you can go ahead and move forward. Do not list features. I am a licensed realtor, if you are one. I'm a licensed mortgage broker, if you are one. I have 30 years of real estate experience, if you haven't. People don't care about that. They only care about the benefits you bring to them. So if you're a licensed real estate agent, you might say, because I'm a licensed real estate agent, I will be able to market this property more effectively than any other investor. If you have 30 years of real estate background, because I have 30 years of real estate experience, I'm able to structure deals that will meet your needs. Whatever it is, match up your features, match up features with benefits, because a feature without a benefit is worthless. So like, that's a cute puppy, what does it mean to me? The next way to advertise is you go to local apartment complexes. And most local apartment complexes have a laundry room. And in that laundry room, they usually have a bulletin board. On that bulletin board, you want to put lease option, make your flyer, and have those little tear-off strips at the bottom with your phone number on there. Now, what I typically do is I'll go ahead and cut those with a pair of scissors, put them in there, maybe tear off 1 or 2 so it looks like they're not the first one, and have people call you. When you're out and about, you go to a restaurant, you go to any place else, pass out business cards. You want to pass out 20 business cards per day. The next least expensive is newspaper advertising. And typically with newspaper advertising, I want to look at newspaper advertising maybe on the busiest day, maybe a Saturday, maybe a Sunday. Through the week, I have found it's not quite as effective. And my most cost-effective way of advertising, I have found to be in the little weekly papers, the ones that you get for free at the convenience stores. Those have had more effect with me than the daily papers that are much more expensive. Next most expensive is radio advertising. You're going to say, oh, I can't afford radio advertising. Yes, you can, if you do this in the correct way. Every time that you sell a property, you want to have a budget for advertising. So let's say you sell a property, you have $10,000 profit. You want to have $5,000 that you put into savings, couple $1,000 you go ahead and put aside for other investing, and you want to have maybe $1,000 to $1,500 of that, about 15%, that you put aside for advertising. You always pay it forward, because the worst thing you can do is you put all your money into buying a property and then you can't sell it. That is shooting yourself in the foot. So you always want to pay it forward with your advertising so that you always have that money ready to invest. Now, if you're going to advertise on the radio, what I would suggest, what has worked very well for Joe White and I, is to use Christian talk or Christian music or Christian talk. The reason I like Christian talk or conservative talk is because people listen to those. And I don't want to get on one of the major national programs. I want to get on a local program that has a smaller audience, but I don't care about the size of the audience. I care about the quality of the audience. If you have a radio station that just plays music, people listen to that in the background. They don't pay attention. If it's a talk radio show, people listen to that, and they will talk back to the radio almost as if they know that person. It's a very different dynamic. And when I used to be on the radio 4 times a week, it was amazing how I'd be out and about and I'd be talking to people say, "You're Reed Sawyer." And it's sort of like, yes, I am. And they recognized me by my voice. When we would do these seminars and people get up, they come up and they acted like I was a minor celebrity. The most important thing is, what is your tagline? You can do spots or you can do infomercials. And depending upon your budget, I would suggest start out with spots, see how those go, and then gradually work up. And talk with your advertising manager, your sales manager there, to see what type of deals you can get, and see if it always makes sense. You don't want to spend $250,000 a year on radio advertising if you don't get a response. Now, the last way of doing this, I think is sort of effective, is use bandit signs. I hate bandit signs, but they're useful to attract people. And when you have bandit signs, you'll find that they can be all over the place. I don't like to put them up. So we hired someone, we paid him $100 a week. He'd place 100 bandit signs, put them up on a Friday afternoon, and he'd bring them down on a Sunday afternoon. That might be something that would be worth your while. Also, you can put ads on the side of your car with magnetic signs. I don't really like that. That's a little bit on the tacky side. But I want to have every opportunity I possibly can to tell people how it can help them.